Hi all, I'm Raghav and this is my Unity Fundamentals Self-Round-2 Assignment 8. So today I'm going to discuss about the following two questions, that is world space, local space and screen space, and three expensive methods of Unity that every developer must avoid. So what is world space? So world space refers to the coordinate system where position and orientations are defined related to the world's origin. So in other words, it represents the global coordinate system or of the game or scene. So when the object is placed in the world space, its position is specified in relation to the world's origin point. So we can imagine a character in the game standing on the ground, and its position is based on the world's origin point. So its direction and distance are relative to the world origin point, which is typically 0, 0, 0 in the scene. So second is local space. So local space refers to the coordinate system where position and orientations are defined related to the local origin of the object. So each object in the game or scene has its own local coordinate system, which is independent of other objects. So in local space, the object's position and rotations are determined related to its own origin. So we can consider an example of a car in a car racing game. So car's position in the local space is defined uh, based on the distance and direction from its own local origin, which is typically the center of the car model. So car's rotation and in the local space uh, determines its orientation related to its own uh, forward, up, and right directions. So third would be the screen space. So screen space refers to the coordinate system based on the screen or display area. So screen space positions are determined using screen coordinates, which represents the pixels on the screen. So its origin is zeros and 0, x and y. So it is typically the top left corner of the screen. So the coordinates increase as we go down or right side of the screen. So in the example of screen space can be seen in UI elements of the game. So we can take example like if we are creating a button or uh, health bar of a player. So it is placed based on the screen space conditions coordinates. So next question is three expensive methods that every Unity developer should avoid. So that could be game object find or find with tag. So this method is expensive because it serves for entire hierarchy of the scene to find a specific game object. Uh, so if our uh, game scene or hierarchy of, is filled with game objects and it has a large amount of game objects, large number of game objects, so it will be expensive in that case. Like it has to search for each of the objects in that case. So instead of using game object dot find or game object dot find with tag, what we could do is we could just realize the field and refer those particular objects in inspector. So second would be get component in children. So this method search for the component in current game object and its children recursively. It can be expensive if called frequently or on large hierarchy of the game objects. It is advised to store references to required components whenever possible or limit the use of that component in children. So third would be instantiate. So instantiating game objects during runtime can be expensive operation, especially if it's done frequently. Or with complex prefabs like particle system, etc. So each instantiation involves memory allocation and initializing the game objects and its components. So it is recommended to pool or reuse the game objects whenever possible to minimize the impact on the performance. So we can take example in this case, like we are in FPS game, we are just initializing bullets and destroying them. So instead of initializing the bullets, we have to what it does is it initialize the bullet. It is assign its components, allocate the memory of the bullet of each bullet, and then after the bullet has reached a certain point, it destroys it. So what we could do is we could use object pooling instead of that. we could reuse the uh, we could reuse the game objects again and again. So that would help us to optimize the performance of the game. That's all. Thank you.